So this is some philosopher signing in one more time for another edition of Z Blog, and today I want to talk about something that it is discussed mostly in in it's not it's not discussed mostly in the religious circles, but is discussed mostly in political circles, and that is checks and balances or uh, a separation of powers. No, so what does have to do with the church and the um and how is it how is it, what is the common thread? All right, first I'm going to the religious side or the um in Matthew 20:25. um you see Jesus give a clear command of the way the church supposed to operate or govern, and he says that amongst the Gentiles the princes exercise dominion over, um and they exercise great authority upon them. But he said, but it shall not be so among you, but whosoever shall be great among you shall let him be the minister, and whoever shall be the chief among you, let him be your servant. Even as the Son of Man came not to be ministered, but to minister, and to give his life as a ransom for many. Quite stated the way the Lord explicitly said that the church is run by is complete prohibition of man man-made government or a man-controlled system, um, uh, like uh, like the Gentiles. Now, the man-made system uh, can go from a monarchy to a democracy. It it could, it could wide range, but anywhere where man has a degree of control, the Lord prohibit that type of system of governing to be implemented in the church. Um, uh, he did not want man to be the head of using uh, uh, government terms, the head of state or the head of the church, because in another scripture we clearly see that Jesus is the head of the church. The big kahuna, the one who controls. So anything other than that might be a usurpation of power. So he put that in place. He also said that those who were in a place of leadership, those who were be public servants, not that not in the way we know public servants today, like in our government, but a voluntary service without any physical recompense or recognition, or great honors or title of headships, and none of that would give the leader credit to himself, because specifically it was God Himself that put that man into his position. So whatever credit he gets, it goes into the one who put him there, which is God, Jesus Christ Himself. So, so, so that's the government of the church. So let's see our modern form of government, which is a republic. It's not people have the misconception that we are a democracy. We're not. We are a republic, which means we follow the rule of law, which is the Constitution. If 60 of us would would vote to kill the other 40% of us, then that will be unconstitutional, even though it's the majority, because the rule of law says every man has a right to life. No, so that's that we live under the rule. And one of the rules in the Constitution is the separation of powers. No, and the founding fathers put the judicial, executive, and legislative branch. No, is separate. But why did they do this? Why did they separate the powers? Because the founders knew, as God knows, that if you give too much power to a single individual, or to a group of individuals in the top, that control will corrupt them, because man has a natural tendency for thirst for power. Once he has tasted the reins of power, it's difficult for him to let go. So that's why they didn't want a person to be controlled. That's why they designed a limited form of government. They not only separated the powers, but they gave they passed a Bill of Rights, which limited the function of the central or federal government, because they specifically did not want the federal government getting any bigger, because the bigger they are, the more oppressive, the most controlling the government will get. So in the same sense, that was one of the reasons why the Lord saw this deficiency in mankind, and He did not want that same tainted corruption to infect His church, that leaders will become the lords of the church, that they get power and control the people, or the sheep. So He specifically forbid even the smallest, even if it was a democratic society, any hint of man control, a man controlled government in the church. So all these, it is safe to assume that all these churches which have acting presidents and acting board of direction who actually play the the part of that one are clearly contradicting this prohibition. So so that's something to uh, think over.